What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, thanks for hitting the like button for us down below. Also, I will have a special guest appearance for you guys at the end of this video. So make sure to watch all the way to the end for our special guest appearance. Did you know that there is a diesel gas shortage? And that is part of the reason why gas prices are getting so high. Yeah, and President Biden is considering an emergency Federal Reserve release to combat shortfalls. Yeah, you can see here, in an effort to alleviate the diesel fuel shortage brought on by declining inventories and increased demand in the northeastern part of the country, which is really exacerbating prices here in the whole US and really pretty much everywhere. The US government is considering drawing upon the Northeast Home Heating Oil Reserve to relieve short-term supply shortages. Yeah, this was originally reported by CNN. An unnamed senior White House official claims that the Biden administration is exploring the possibility of an emergency declaration to authorize the president to pull from oil reserves from the emergency stockpile at NEHHOR. And supply for this petroleum significantly falls behind demand in the northeast region of the U.S., per the Energy Information Administration, the EIA. And prices have been particularly fierce in the northeast region of the U.S., where retail diesel prices have gone up 78% since January. Unbelievable. The average retail diesel price was $6.43 a gallon in the New England area on May 16th. Wow, that is unbelievable. The reserve has only been opened once before to provide emergency relief during the Superstorm Sandy in 2012. And this comes as we're seeing a major food shortage here as well. Some analysts are saying that we could be down to as low as 10 weeks of wheat supply globally for the whole world as well. And the Russian and Ukraine war is just further exacerbating this problem. And Russia has a blockade on Ukrainian ports, making this even worse and driving up the prices of food. Check this out.
Even if Vladimir Putin's war on Ukraine ended tomorrow, the entire world still would face a rampant hunger crisis. As CNN's Kylie Atwood reports, the U.S. and others are sounding urgent alarms about how Russian forces are interfering with food shipments that keep hundreds of millions of people across the globe from starving.
Grain held hostage because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine is deepening the global food crisis.
When a nation that is the breadbasket of the world becomes a nation with the longest bread lines of the world, we know we have a problem.
Before the Ukraine war began, the country was the world's fourth largest exporter of corn and the fifth largest exporter of wheat. Now those agricultural products cannot get out of Ukraine's ports because of Russia's blockade, leaving dozens of countries desperate. David Beasley, the executive director of the World Food Program, said there are currently at least 323 million people around the world heading towards starvation.
Truly, failure to open those ports in Odessa region will be a declaration of war on global food security, and it will result in famine and destabilization and mass migration around the world.
The Biden administration is ramping up its focus on this deadly crisis as global food prices are spiking. Secretary of State Tony Blinken convened a United Nations Security Council meeting on the topic today, calling for a coordinated international response.
There are an estimated 22 million tons of grain sitting in silos in Ukraine right now.
and demanding that Russia open the ports and allow trucks with food to leave the country.
The Russian Federation claims falsely that the international community's sanctions are to blame for worsening the global food crisis. Sanctions aren't blocking Black Sea ports, trapping ships filled with food, and destroying Ukrainian roads and railways. Russia is.
Footage obtained by CNN from Melitopol, Zaporizhia, allows us to see what President Zelensky's administration is calling food terrorism. Trucks bearing the white Z symbol of the Russian military stealing Ukrainian grain, bringing it to Russian-held Crimea.
This is not just a strike at Ukraine. Without our agrarian exports, dozens of countries in various regions of the world have found themselves on the brink of food deficit.
Russia is also carrying out strikes specifically targeting agricultural warehouses in the country.
We're seeing attacks on everything from fields with craters in them. There are reports of Russian soldiers putting landmines in fields, destroying farm equipment.
As the world presses for an end to Russia's invasion, experts warn that even if the conflict did end soon, it would take years for Ukraine's agricultural industry to recover.
The world is on the brink of mass hunger.
Now, Jake, the Biden administration is working closely with European allies to develop alternate routes to get this grain out of Ukraine if those ports are not open, which of course Russia has given no indication that they will allow them to open. And one of the leading options here is putting this grain onto trains and transferring the grain from Ukraine to the neighboring European countries. But of course, there are a lot of logistical and technological challenges that have come along with that. Jake?
Now, the state of Tennessee and other states as well are doing what they can. As you can see here, the state of Tennessee just announced a grocery tax suspension. This just happened. But the state of Tennessee, their grocery tax suspension is months away. Months away. But there is other places you can get help with food assistance, well, like the SNAP program. And also, for example, at least in Tennessee, possibly in other parts of the country, the YMCA every Monday through June will give out free 7-day meal packages for kids under 18. Meals will be distributed from 11 a.m. through 2 p.m. on a first-come, first-served basis on the Methodist South Hospital campus in Memphis, Tennessee. Also, the Feed the Block Memphis has 3 different meal programs for residents living in Raleigh. And there are multiple different programs like that for each and every individual state that you can look up. Also, the SNAP program, as you can see here, is paying additional benefits for a bunch of different states here. Here is the month of May and the states that are paying extra SNAP benefits here. Alabama, Alaska, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, DC, District of Columbia, Georgia, Guam, Hawaii, Guam's a U.S. territory, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, New Mexico, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Washington, West Virginia, and Wisconsin here. So you can see here, there is a lot of states and a few U.S. territories here that are paying extra SNAP pandemic benefits. This is for the month of May. There could be a few more here for the month of May, but this is probably the list here. So quite a few states still paying extra SNAP pandemic benefits, stimulus benefits, basically because of the pandemic. Remember, the new virus cases are on the rise here yet again. And then we also have new pandemic EBT benefits for the school year for 21-22 here, and all the states listed here as well. We may actually have 2022-2023 coming up here soon as well. I'll keep you up to date here for that as well, because the new school year will be starting here not too far from now. But you can see here the list of states who are for pandemic EBT benefits: Alabama, American Samoa, U.S. territory; Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, D.C., Florida, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, Rhode Island, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wisconsin here. So quite a few states giving pandemic EBT money or assistance for the school year 2021-2022. So really, if it weren't for the pandemic, this benefit and this extra SNAP benefit would not be going out, and these are still going out. Yeah, let me know your thoughts here in the comments. And we also have, we have these sky high gas prices, sky high food prices as well. And now we have this Russian blockade on Ukraine, and they basically can't get any food out there now. And the problem is that's enough to create a shortage here globally, because when you subtract everything from Ukraine from the rest of the world, it's now creating a major crisis. And we actually, I shared this the other video here. The United Kingdom is mulling an option of escorting Ukraine grain vessels from ports in the Black Sea, breaking Russian blockade. And this could literally start the World War III, because if Russia attacks UK, United Kingdom, they're a major part of NATO. I mean, if you attack anybody who's a part of NATO, that's a declaration of war against all of NATO, including the United States. So, yeah. This is why it's a very tricky fine line here with everything going on in the war in Ukraine and Russia and all that stuff. Very, very tricky fine line here, guys. It's not a like I said, there will be no winners in this war, and the longer it goes on, the longer everybody's going to be hurting, including us here in the United States, with high gas prices, high food prices, higher inflation, and longer inflation. It's not the sole cause of inflation, but it is a part of it. We're seeing high food prices, high gas prices. If the war wasn't going on, we'd be seeing lower prices there. How much lower? Who knows? But it's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And it really does kind of beg the question here: is this going to eventually lead to us being at war with the United States, the United Kingdom, NATO, Europe? Um, and the problem here is that Russia has nukes. Russia has nukes. If they didn't have nukes, it wouldn't be an issue at all. I mean, Russia's struggling with Ukraine. So if they didn't have nukes, no big deal. But I mean, one nuclear bomb alone is a major deal. Well, they have thousands of them. So that's the major issue here. And you know, I mean, if one nuclear bomb goes off anywhere, I mean, the sheer financial panic alone in stock markets around the world. I mean, 56%, maybe even close to 60% of Americans have money in stock markets now. pensions, 401ks, IRAs, retirement funds. So, I mean, just that alone, just our economy alone, that alone would be a nightmare. So this isn't even something we want to. And remember that Russia's like right on the border of Alaska, literally right there. Okay, and really not that far from the west coast of the United States. This isn't something we want to happen. It's just not. Um, you know, so nobody's going to win in a nuclear war. There's not going to be any winners. There's not really any winners now in this war. Look at what the world's going through with high gas prices, high inflation, high food prices. Imagine if there's a nuclear war. There's not going to be like, oh, yay, we won. There's not going to be any winners from either side. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts here in the comments. The other question is here, I believe President Biden said this here recently. He doesn't see a way for Putin to get out of this war. So how does Putin get out of this war? How does he withdraw without being seen as a loser? Without, losing the war. So yeah, that's the problem here is that without losing face, without losing the war, that's a tough one. Because he doesn't want to go back to his country and say we lost the war. He wants to. That's a tricky situation. You got to kind of try to find an exit strategy for him, or he does. You have to try to find a mutual strategy for him there. So, yeah, it's very. If you even try to think through it, it's the problem is Ukraine doesn't want to give up any. They don't want to give up territory. They don't want to give up parts of their country to Russia. Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. The longer this goes on, we're all suffering. Ukraine especially. We're suffering here too. Gas prices, food prices, everything. Yeah. So let me know your thoughts. I'll keep you up to date here. And hopefully this threat of like war spreading even further doesn't happen. I remember just a few months ago people saying this war will never even happen at all. Russia's not going to invade Ukraine. That 100,000 plus troops they have on the border, that's just fear mongering and war mongering. And I looked at it realistically and I'm thinking, are you sure? Because it's just like this realistically. Now, the other problem here that we've seen is that there's just so many complicated situations with the US and the UK and Europe and Finland. There's just so many complicated situations here, and we're supplying them with weapons, and Europe's supplying them with weapons. There's just so many complicated situations that could end up where we get drug into this, or Europe, Putin just loses it, right? That's where it's a very very fine line everybody's walking here, including Russia. So, yeah, I'll keep you up to date, and you let me know your thoughts here in the comments, and we'll see where this ends up.
Hey,
Hi. What do you want to say, buddy?
how you doing? Make sure to subscribe to your next video.
Yeah, you're almost there, buddy.
I love you.
That's a good boy.
I love you very much.
Oh, that's a nice boy. Hey, tell everybody that you tried strawberry milk for the first time.
I tried strawberry milk.
What do you like better, chocolate milk or strawberry milk?
Strawberry milk.
Ah. Yeah, say Daddy got you to try strawberry milk. And how did you like it?
It was very tasty.
Very tasty, yeah.
And it was very poopy too. I grow.
Look, we got our NASA shirt on.
Yeah, but I grow big.
This is our space shirt.
I grow big.
Why are you so big?
Because I'm a big boy now.
Yeah.
I'm very tall.
Oh.
I'm high. I have been way in the sky.
Watch this magic button right here. Ready? All right, we gotta say goodbye first.
Bye.
Say bye-bye. We love
Bye,
you.
we love you. We'll see you in the next video. Okay, let's go wrestle over here. 3 times.
Bye-bye.